Hi, and welcome back to Hey, have you read this book? Today's episode is about the book Blue Ribbons, Bitter Bread, written by Susanna de Vries. This book is about Joyce Loch, a remarkable woman who lived an extraordinary life. Her compassion and courage saved the lives of hundreds of Jews and Poles during World War II. Joyce's grandfather, Thomas Nankervell, the shipping and pastoral tycoon, was once known as Australia's richest man. Joyce's parents had sugarcane plantations in Queensland and were doing very well. When Joyce was born in 1887, the family lived in a large house and had servants. However, when Joyce was 2 years old, the Queensland government stopped plantation owners from bringing in the Kanakas labourers to work in the cane fields. The Kanakas were South Sea Islanders who were indentured to work for 3 years on the plantations. The government knew that this scheme was a form of slave labour, so they made it illegal. Joyce's father knew that he would be in trouble because no white man would work in the cane fields for fear of catching leptospirosis, a disease spread by rats living amongst the cane. But there were more problems to come. The price of sugar fell, then much of the cane was destroyed by a cyclone. The following year the cane was infested with red rust, which destroyed much of the harvest. Joyce's parents had to sell their plantations, their house and furniture, to pay the creditors. The family was now homeless and penniless. For a while they lived in a shack with a dirt floor. They survived by trapping rabbits and growing their own vegetables. Eventually they were able to borrow some money to buy a farm near Droin, near Melbourne. The family had to work hard on the farm, picking fruit and looking after the animals. When her Uncle Harry, who was a doctor, came to stay during his holidays, Joyce learned how to operate on injured animals. Joyce's ambition was to become a writer. Unfortunately, just as Joyce's book was published, World War I broke out. This meant that not many of Joyce's books were sold. Joyce was able to get a job as an editorial assistant at Melbourne University, where she could attend lectures. She wrote book reviews for the Melbourne Evening Herald and met Sydney Loch, an author of a book she had reviewed. After Joyce and Sydney were married in 1919, they went to Ireland to research a book about the rebellion against British rule. After their adventures in Ireland, Joyce and Sydney's next book was going to be about war-torn Poland. Fighting in eastern Poland had turned farms into wasteland. The Lochs became volunteers to help the Polish refugees resettle onto their land. Farmers who managed to return found their homes destroyed and livestock gone. Sydney took charge of a scheme to lend ex-army horses to farmers to plough their land and haul timber to build new houses. His plan saved the people from a large area of Poland from starvation. He also set up a farm school and orphanage. Joyce was kept busy assisting doctors with the sick and wounded. She learnt about surgical techniques and birthing procedures. After hearing that there were 1 million refugees in Greece, the Lochs decided to become volunteers in the camps. Greece had entered World War I on the side of the British and tried to recapture what had once been part of the Greek Empire by invading Turkey. The Turks retaliated by killing thousands of Greeks living in Turkey. Joyce helped in the refugee camps set up by the Quakers, Red Cross and other charities. Diseases such as typhoid, blackwater fever, cholera, dysentery, diphtheria and malaria would break out in the camps. Joyce started to breed gambusia fish, which devoured mosquito larvae. The fish were released into storage tanks and saved many lives by preventing the spread of malaria. Joyce also sold the fish to other charities and governments. She taught the female refugees survival skills and home nursing so that they could care for their younger siblings and sick relatives. During a break, the Lochs visited Pyrgos on the Athos Peninsula. Here Joyce was appalled to see so many undernourished and sick children. Pergos became known as Uranoupillis, one of dozens of refugee villages in the province of Halkidiki. After all the refugees at the farm school were rehoused, the Lochs made their way back to Uranoupillis. They lived in a Byzantine tower overlooking the sea. At first the tower was not really habitable as it had no plumbing or electricity. When the Lochs became settled into their tower, the sick and injured started to go to the tower for treatment. Joyce became known as the village doctor. Most of the villagers were widows with children. The Lochs used their own money from their writing to help look after the desperately poor, while they tried to find ways to make the widows self-sufficient. Joyce started up a women's weaving co-op to weave rugs, paying for the looms herself. Joyce designed the rugs and she experimented with making natural dyes made from berries, leaves, bark and flowers. The rug co-op was a success and the women were able to buy clothes and shoes for their children. One night an earthquake caused the collapse of the village houses. Hundreds of injured people were pulled out of the rubble. Joyce worked through the night and into the following day without a break, stitching up wounds until help came. For this, Joyce's name became famous throughout Greece. Read this book to find out how Joyce went on to save over 1,000 Polish women and children from the Nazis during World War II. Joyce Loch is described as Australia's most heroic woman and is one of the most decorated women in the world. From several different countries, she received 11 medals, including the MBE. I think you will enjoy reading this book about the truly extraordinary life of Joyce Loch. Thanks for watching.